Hey everybody, welcome to Arizona Cards Cast. It is August 16th, 2022. It's a Tuesday. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cardinals. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball. We're actually going to talk a little bit about a lot of sports today. But let's get into it. First off, my first subject of the day about our beloved Arizona Cardinals is what I'm concerned about the most. Yes, secondary concerns. I'm not talking about like the second concerns. I'm actually talking about the Arizona Cardinals secondary, mainly the cornerback room. Marco Wilson and Byron Murphy are the top two corners. I think Byron Murphy, as I said, I think he's a talented young corner, but I also think that his best position is in the slot. He's having to guard on the outside because the Cardinals have no depth. They have to go and get a guy via trade or free agency. I am terrified that Week 1, you have Patrick Mahomes going to the desert, and we have, I know the Chiefs don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but it is a mismatch, like, me wearing, blue pants and I don't know, an orange shirt or something. Just think about clothes that don't match. I don't know. I'm not a fashion guy, but, man, I'm scared. I'm a little bit scared right now about our secondary. I mean, when Marco Wilson looks pretty shaky against, Cincinnati's third teamers, it concerns you a little bit. So please, Keim, go and get someone via trade free agency, probably two guys. We need two guys. Because right now, looks like our pass prevention is not going to be good in 2022 as it stands right now. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo, I am for real. I just love to say that whenever I see Lamar Jackson, because also I love that song. It's a phenomenal song by the great rap group Outkast. Anyways, so next I want to talk about the Ravens, or the Cardinals' opponent. They play Sunday evening in the Big Toaster. So kind of the most obscure streaks in all of sports is the Ravens have a 21-game preseason winning streak. And I want to ask, because it's a question that I know that they're talking about back in Arizona. If the Cardinals snap the streak, what does that mean? Really, not much of anything, because I think it's just an obscure streak. But it also shows, I really do think that John Harbaugh really does a phenomenal job of developing, and I think this just goes to his past with running the special teams. Back in the 2000s with the Eagles before he became the Ravens head coach. He's just fantastic at developing talent, especially secondary talent. That's why the Ravens are usually a good football team, is because they always have depth. They always are in the right spots. I think that this would be a great matchup, actually, for the Cardinals. Actually, I don't think that, even though I think it'd be cool to win the game, I think in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't mean too much. You just want to see maybe some key guys. You want to see the development of Craig Dortch. You want to see, as I said, some of the young defensive linemen. Maybe another pass rusher or two, keep developing, of course, behind Marcus Golden, as I said, also pass rush. Edge rusher is a little bit of the concern for us right now, if you know what I mean, Jelly Bean. Fernando Tatis is suspended for 80 games for using an illegal substance. I guess he was trying to treat ringworm. My response to this is, like, when you're a professional athlete, come on, man. Like, you know what you're putting in your body. Like, some spray to treat ringworm. Really? You might as well just come out with a syringe and be like, yeah, this is what I was using it for. This is so ridiculous that athletes love to just toy with us and lie to us just to try to save their own culos. But no. We know that Tatis hurt himself, hurt the Padres in a wasted year for a young talent. Let's just be honest, the Padres are just showing, even though they keep going for it with the Soto trade and the Hader trade, that they're trying to catch the Dodgers, and then they went to LA and got hammered by a Dodgers team that honestly, they're missing Walker Buehler now for the season. The Dodgers, I don't even know how the Dodgers are doing it this year, to be honest with you. But you know what? Padres are still a second citizen in baseball. I hate to say it. This Fernando Tatis suspension. Who knows? Maybe Milwaukee overtakes them for the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Padres don't even make the playoffs, to be honest with you, at this point. We'll see if I'm right. All right, let's talk about golf a little bit. All right, so Tiger Woods, the LIV Tour is accusing Tiger Woods of, trying to persuade PGA Tour players not to play on the LIV Tour. And you know what? The LIV Tour gave Tiger a lot of money. Well, they offered him a lot of money to go play on that tour. Tiger declined it, which is good for Tiger Woods. He's showing, hey, you know, I'm a PGA Tour guy. There is no price that you can pay me to want to go play on the LIV Tour. And that is great. But also I think that a lot of people who are criticizing Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson and Patrick Reed and some of the other players who shifted to the LIV Tour, you know what? There is, sometimes you don't have to maybe love the morals of the company or the people you work for, but sometimes money does talk, and I don't think it's fair for any of us to criticize someone who wants to maybe provide a better life for their family, and the money that the LIV Tour is, like Greg Norman and the LIV Tour is throwing at these guys, I can see why, you know. And most of it is not young players. Most of it's veteran players, guys who's played on the PGA Tour for a long time. And I think that's what's really hitting the PGA Tour. If you notice, a lot of the young stars like Patrick Cantlay or even Jordan Spieth is a little bit younger. A lot of the younger players on the PGA Tour are not going to the LIV Tour. It's mostly a lot of the veterans. You know, also, of course, Henrik Stenson, Ian Poulter, some of the guys on the European Tour are also going to play on the LIV Tour. But I think it's not fair for us to criticize people. Simmer down. As I say every day on this, simmer down, people. You know, I think that these players should have a right and stop trying to, you know, sail the moral fortitude. Come on, man. If, you know, a company, maybe there's something that, you know, someone's moral values you don't agree with, then, but they're offering you a lot of money, sometimes it's hard to say no to the money. And I am not one to say what someone should or should not do with their life and their career. But I also want to commend Tiger Woods for doing what he thinks is right. And I think that, and also, you know, you got to love the drama, like the Koepka DeChambeau drama. Actually, I forgot DeChambeau went to the LIV Tour. Oh, wow. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Like, think about, like, if the XFL was actually big and you had, like, I don't know, Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers and some of you know, some of the top quarterbacks or players in general, you know, Aaron Donald, like some of the top NFL players went and played in the XFL. It really watered down the product, and I think that's what is scaring a lot of like the old-time golf fans. Oh no, the PGA Tour is going to be all watered down because a lot of their top talent is going and playing in some different tour that's only 54 holes and no cut and blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't know if it's good for golf, but I will say what is good for golf is the drama and the fact that I'm talking about golf when it's not even major season. I'm actually talking about golf on my little program that, you know, maybe 20 or 6 or 100 people are going to watch this video. Hopefully more than that. But, you know, I say that I think it's, you know, it's good. Obviously, any publicity is good publicity, I guess you could say. But we'll see where the state of golf is at this time next year. It'll be interesting. Next, we have the AFC North Projections. As I told you, over the next couple weeks, we're going to be ending this beautiful part of the program with our projections for every division. Yesterday we did the AFC East, and as I said, I'm going by what I did back in May and just showing what the standings I had for every division, predicting every game throughout the season. But I get to mend them on every division to predict 2 games on the right side and wrong side. And honestly, by the looks of this division, you can see I actually think this division is a little bit overrated. I don't think it is as strong as a division as everyone is making it out to be. I think that the AFC North is fine, but it's not like you have all these juggernauts like people are trying to say. And I think, honestly, there's usually a team that goes from worst to first. There's only been 2 seasons, I recall, in the last 15 years that there was not a team that went from worst to first. And I think, obviously, the best worst to first, the obvious worst to first, sometimes don't think about it too much, guys. The obvious choice to go from worst to first is the Ravens, who actually were the #1 seed in the AFC before Lamar Jackson got hurt last year. Just facts. That's what Drew comes. He comes with the facts. The Ravens were 8-3 and lost their final 6 games, and they lost 5 of the 6 games by a combined 7 points. With the one loss coming when they had to play Josh Johnson, the third-string quarterback, against the Bengals, which took advantage of it and blew the Ravens out of the stadium and pretty much buried the Ravens for good in Week 16 last year. Anyways, so as you can see, I have the Ravens at 12-5. I am not going to change that record at all. I think that's an appropriate record for the Ravens. I still think they're one of the most well-coached teams in football. I think the defense is going to be top 5, top 10 with pretty much all their dudes coming back. The Ravens had more injuries than any team in the NFL last year. They were pretty much playing with a second team unit and still were losing, lost to the Packers by 1, lost to the Browns by 2, lost to the Steelers by 1. Like they were still, and in the Packers and Steelers games, remember they lost on a 2-point conversion last year. The Ravens went for the win instead of overtime, which obviously was highly criticized by John Harbaugh, but I like it. You know what? If you're going to be aggressive, go for it. 10 cup it, baby. Just go for it. So the Ravens, I'm keeping them at 12-5. Now the Brownies and, the famous respecter of, women, Deshaun Watson. So I predicted the Browns to be 10-7, but back at that point, I wasn't sure if Deshaun Watson was going to miss much time. But now I know he's going to miss more than 6 games. It possibly might be the season. So I think it's pretty obvious. I don't think the Browns are going to be in the playoff hunt like I thought before. Kareem Hunt wanted to be traded. The Browns are already a mess. Aren't the Browns always a mess? Yes, the Cleveland Brownies. I'm knocking them down to 8-9. I think there's enough talent. I think Stefanski's a good enough coach that even if Jacoby Brissett plays most of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if they go after Jimmy Garoppolo, which may change that back to 10-7. But I just think there's too much bad juju, as they would say. That's the word my wife uses, bad juju, around the Brownies. I think the Browns are not going to be a playoff contender. The Steelers at 7-10. Now, Mike Tomlin, has been the Steelers coach since 2007, and an awesome tidbit about Tomlin. He's never had a losing season. Well, I think that's going to begin now. He had Ben Roethlisberger all these years, and I know that we crack jokes about his work ethic and his attitude and like the fact that the media don't like Ben Roethlisberger. But let's just be honest. Big Benny is a Hall of Famer. There's a reason why. Even last year it was kind of fairies and rainbows, like how the Steelers are winning all those games because they were not very good. I think this is a rebuilding year for the Steelers, and I actually am giving him 7 wins because I actually think that Mike Tomlin is a fantastic coach, and I think the Steelers will still have a solid defense, even though their defense was vastly overrated last year. They could not stop the run. Like, honestly, I don't know if you remember that Thursday night game against the Vikings, and the Vikings ran for like 4,000 yards. It was not good. The Steelers' defense very overrated last year. I mean, they gave up, 36 to the Vikings, 36 to the Chiefs, 41 to the Bengals. Like, it was not the same Steelers defense that we've seen in the past. Lastly, the Bengals, and I'm sure you guys are like, oh my gosh, they went to the Super Bowl last year. How can you have them at 5 wins? Okay, a little bit too harsh. I'm putting the Bengals at 7-10. And I'll even say that they finished still in last place behind the Steelers. I say the Steelers get the tiebreaker. Here's the thing about the Bengals, that the reason why I was predicting them to lose a lot of games, man, the Bengals' schedule is absolutely just godly brutal. I mean, they have the toughest schedule in the NFL, I believe. They have to play the Chiefs and the Titans and the Bills, it is just ungodly brutal. They do get to play the Jets and the Patriots. They get to play the Falcons, the Panthers. Okay, they'll probably win most of those games, but I just think that the Bengals, it was a little bit smoke and mirrors last year, their playoff run. I think Burrow is good. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's getting better. But, the Super Bowl hangover is real, and I think that the Bengals will experience a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. They did improve the offensive line, but I think the defense is okay. I think the schedule is just going to wear them down. Like, the Bengals' schedule is just not fair. If you look at their schedule, go check it out. If they lose to the Steelers in Week 1, man, look out. So, yeah, Ravens, Browns, Steelers, Bengals. As you can see, only one playoff team from the AFC North, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me at Stu Drew. Deuces. See you tomorrow. Actually, no. See you Thursday. Deuces.